Hello and happy Thursday. Nice and early for you. And I'm so happy that you could join us again. It's 2 times this month on top of your mini moon. So congratulations on
Thank
being
you.
married. Those photos with the, oh my gosh, with the mountains.
I know. Didn't it just look like a beautiful Colorado wedding?
It made me want to actually get married. Just so I could go do that. Now that I'm up here and I have the Smoky Mountains, I was like, I would totally do like a real wedding thing, you know?
Oh my gosh, it was magical. So, and thanks for having me on. I mean, I always like talking to you, Heather.
Oh, you're too sweet. Well, this presentation was done at BOC. It was phenomenal. And I kind of liked the whole virtual because I was able to kind of be in multiple rooms at once and then really decide it's not like I went into a room and maybe it wasn't what I thought. And then I don't want to be rude and leave. So having that virtually, I could be in like 4 or 5 rooms at one time and just really kind of see the comments and what was going on. And yours for sure. I'm like, I do Instagram all the time, but I want to be in there to chat and support you. And I ended up closing all the others because I was like, this is so cool. So I'm super excited to have you do your Instagram. So I'm going to go ahead and pop your screen up here and I'm going to let you take it away.
Cool. Yeah. And like Heather said, for anyone that's joining, if you did attend Broker Owner Conference, this presentation actually was first presented at BOC and it's still live within that platform. So you can always go log in and watch it again. And if you've already seen it, maybe this is just going to be a nice refresher for you. So we are talking about all things Instagram today. And if you have questions, comments, feel free to comment below. We're going to try to keep this to 30 minutes, nice and quick and breezy. So come back and pause the video if I am talking too fast, because I technically do talk fast already. So we're going to see how this goes. So again, all things Instagram. And let's get to the next slide to talk about what we are talking about. So setting your purpose, we're going to talk about what makes a great profile briefly, and we're going to spend a majority of our time on the 6 best practices of Instagram. I see Boca's on here, and there's a little preview of you in this presentation, so please watch because you're going to see it. And then at the very end, we're going to talk about Instagram stories and then wrap up with content strategy as far as how many times you should be posting weekly, monthly, etc. Solving your why, and this feels very basic, but I strongly recommend thinking about why you want to start an Instagram account if you don't already have one before you ever do. Before you ever hit create profile, you should be thinking about solving your why. What is your purpose? And it's not just because, all the cool kids are on Instagram or Heather's on Instagram, so I should be on Instagram. It's really important, given that this is such a visual platform, that you think about it ahead of time. You need to be thinking about what represents the best version of you and your business. Of course, if you're creating it for a business account or personal, or if your personal is your business account, however you want to do it. But let's think about your why before you ever hit create profile. Maybe it is to connect with a younger audience or build a community, or maybe connect with local businesses that, those hip new businesses that are in the neighborhood that you want to just engage with. So solve your why before you ever hit create profile. During this entire presentation, I'm going to repeat this. These are always just suggestions, not firm rules. So if you hate what I have on the screen, it's not going to make or break your Instagram account. This is just a good, simple way for your content structure. This is actually the content structure that we use for Adam Contos's Instagram account rather. And what we really do is break our Instagram out into 3 different categories. As you can see on the screen: company, self, world. We actually kind of change these to industry, self, and community. But if you're really thinking about, again, solve your why first, but then how can you achieve that why through your content strategy? Every week, we dedicate a post or a third of our content into each one of these buckets. So let's talk about the company, or the industry rather. This is really your market updates, your thought leadership, your heavy hitting business strategy, or your marketing, your listing videos, that kind of thing. That can also relate for your broker owners to your actual employees, happy birthdays, anniversaries, that kind of thing. And then your innovation and technology. And what should you post? Well, your photos, videos, and stories. These posts are really what you want to prompt discussion. This is something that people should want to engage with you on to get a greater information about your company. Second is yourself or your personal. And I really think this is the most important content structure. I think a lot of people feel very uncomfortable talking about themselves when it comes, especially if you have a business account that's dedicated primarily to your business, but it's so important. This is what keeps people following you, is learning more about you, your personal, your family. Maybe you're in a book of the month, or you like to cook or travel. Maybe you have pets. These are your in the moment updates, which Instagram stories is great for the in the moment updates. We're going to talk about that later in the presentation. But this is something that we have been focusing more on Adam's accounts recently, is kind of bringing more of that fun. What is Adam Contos outside of the CEO of Remax? Who are you outside of a Remax agent or Remax broker owner? And then your last piece is the world or your community. There's topics in here like sustainability, fundraising, volunteering. Obviously, we have this amazing partnership with Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Maybe this is maybe you're not as involved with Children's Miracle Network hospitals, and if you're not, you should be. But maybe you're, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, or maybe you're like highlighting your local businesses and going and grabbing lunch and talking to the owners of those businesses. It's really how you bring your community together, and this is what's going to get you the follows, right? Yourself is what's going to keep people there. The community is what's going to bring people to your account. And then your company is just, what probably prompted you to create an Instagram account in the first place. Polls, donation stickers, again, lots of great tools and interactive things on Instagram. But again, think about your content strategy. Try to hit one of these. If you have 3 posts that you're doing a week, one should be dedicated to the company, one to the self, and one to the world. Simple enough, right? What makes a great profile? I'm going to have a next slide about agents actually in the field. Obviously, I chose Adam Contos and the Remax account because these are accounts that I help manage, but a great profile includes a great profile photo. And unfortunately for Instagram, for those that are not aware, you can't just click on that little thumbnail and it blow up, right? Like Facebook. This stays this tiny big. So if you can't even see this here, just think about if you have a really far away shot or you have multiple people in your photo, it should be a nice portrait photo. It should be your logo. It should be your face. As big as you can get your face so people actually recognize you, that's the first step. I see so many different profile photos where I'm like, I have no idea who this person is. Your bio should be a mix of personal and professional. We have for Adam, he's the CEO of Remax. He's a serial entrepreneur. He loves podcasting. It's just a nice mix of both, right? Don't be afraid to add something silly like, I don't know, like for me, it'd be like loves Harry Potter and basic millennial, # basic millennial, right? That's just like who I am. But I'm also the Remax social media person. So that's just some ideas to be thinking about. Like, what are your hobbies? Include it, because that's always fun. It's a fun little nugget about you without having to post about it in your feed. We're going to get more into this later in the presentation, but don't obsess. Don't obsess over your grid. It's your in-feed content. Some people really focus on, the color scheme should be this, or I posted this today. Is it going to play with the post tomorrow? Don't obsess over it. It's your in-feed content. It's just who you are, right? Loves Target. Is that Kristen? Probably. Okay, so then your highlights. Your highlights are your main beats. These are things about you. For Adam, we have start with a win. For Remax, we have news. There's also home buyer and seller section. There's fun, there's events, there's CMN. It's really a hierarchy without someone having to like click on that to see what it means. It should at least give you an understanding of what this profile is without, again, clicking on it. So that's what makes a great profile. 6 best practices for business leaders, and this is where we are going to spend a majority of the time. I'm not going to go through each one of these because there's a slide dedicated to each one of these points. So I'm just going to hit on to the next slide. Focus. Focus on what your account is all about. Study your data and make sure you're making sure it's very crystal clear and sticking with what your profile is. I have 3 what I, in my mind, think are great examples of what a great profile looks like. First, Jordan Cohen. When I look at his bio, I see that he's awarded the Inman Top Luxury Agent of 2019. So what does that tell me? Oh, it means that I'm probably going to see a lot of luxury home listings on his profile. You know, he's the #1 Remax agent in the world. And to me, that makes sense because he sells luxury properties. So he's probably making a lot of money. But I want to go to his profile because I want to see beautiful pictures of homes. And he does an excellent job of highlighting that within his grid. The Michelle B. What I love about her profile is it's so Boca. And that's just who she is. You think so Boca when you think Michelle B, right? And she not only has information about being a real estate agent in this community, but she also has information about maybe she wants to teach you about Instagram tips, you know, maybe this like a little bit of a coach. So when I go to her highlights, I'm seeing there's Instagram tips, I'm seeing there's listings, I'm seeing there's webinars, I'm seeing that there's a section about buying and selling. So maybe there's going to be some property listings there within her feed. Reminds me of Soboka, just the coloring scheme. All around great profile here. And then last and certainly not least, Ed Stulak. What I see with Ed, and he is a real estate agent. It says it in his bio, but it's kind of buried a little bit further down, right? So I'm not expecting to see that he is going to be selling me on real estate on his profile. What I am expected to see is that he's a social media and brand strategist. It's literally right in his title. He's not even listed as a real estate agent. He's listed as an entrepreneur. So when I come to his profile, I'm seeing this very gainer check kind of approach to his style, like this very quotes and how to grow massive following on TikTok. So I'm thinking I'm going to get a lot more of this coaching experience versus a traditional real estate agent. And that's fine too. I think, you know, a lot of real estate agents play in both. So 3 great examples of 3 great profiles that are all focusing on what their account is all about. They have a purpose, right? Second, and I will caveat this, that this is, about a couple months old. Reels is a new thing, and I do think this falls into this category of using the whole platform. And who does it best than Pinky Knows Naples, Sue Pinky Benson. She does a great job of just focusing on each section of Instagram. And again, there's Reels now. I don't know if Sue's doing Reels, but she does an excellent job of using the entire platform. Your feed content, that's your very polished, your edited version of you. I know that sounds kind of bad because it's like, oh, I need to be authentic and me, and you can, but your in feed's that pretty, you know, maybe it took you 100 like photos and then you found one out of that, right? That's your in feed. Your stories is where you can have a little bit more fun. This is your authentic you. This is your in the moment updates. You know, it's quick, it's easy, it's fun. And as somebody that my favorite platform is Instagram, I spend more time in stories than I do in feed. And that's why, again, it's so important to use the whole platform. It's not just posting in your feed and forgetting about stories because it makes you nervous. And we are going to talk about stories at the end. So stay tuned for that, for tips on stories if you're not doing it already.
And we had Sue on 2 weeks ago. I think she was right after you, the second week. So we went into what she used. It was all about video and the reels and what app she uses and everything else. So it goes like everything kind of tied in together this week or this month. It's been fabulous.
That's perfect. And I think again, like I literally, this next section of live, I was like, Sue, like I've been watching your account for like, a few days and I haven't seen you gone live, but I really need a screenshot for my presentation. Like, can you like go live? She was like, okay. And she just gets online and she's like, okay, did you get what you needed? I was like, yep, got it. Thank you.
She's doing reels and I always tell her like I'm watching reels without sound and everyone just looks super silly. So she'll send me a message, you might want to put the sound on for this.
Yeah.
I don't know what the sound on, but everyone just looks silly because I never have my sound on. And if you've ever watched reels without the sound on, people look really silly.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's the same with watching. I mean, it'd be like watching TikTok without sound, and that's just
yeah, for sure.
So your live content it's in the moment, but it's more planned, right? I'm going to go live tomorrow. I'm going to be taking a tour of this home. You're giving people a heads up that it's going to happen, but it's still that authenticity because it's not something you can polish. And obviously we know with live, we're live right now, that things can go wrong, internet can go out, or you may not have good cell reception, etc. But live is an important piece to your overall content strategy when it comes to Instagram, to a lot of platforms, but Instagram specifically. And then your IGTV. This is your long form. This is more of a polished feel, but it's a series. It's, what I love about, Sue's is it's beach communities in North Naples. Maybe she's doing a series on these communities in North Naples. And I know a lot of people actually do this on Facebook. So why not take that same video and put it on IGTV? It can be a longer form video and it just helps fill in those gaps for the whole platform. And at the very, very end, I'm going to go over how many times you should be posting to each one of these every single day, week, month, etc. So use the whole platform. That's the second best practice. Third, don't overthink it. I hope Kristen is on this call. So
Kristen's face, I can't. Is that chicken in someone's lap?
So what I love about these three people, and hopefully you guys all know these people, Jesse Peters, Kristen, and the Geeky Agent. Like these people are just who they are online, and take it or leave it. And I think most people do take it because it's fantastic. Jesse, for example, I see a lot of stuff about him being a dad. He's obviously so great at being a real estate agent, but in the same vein, he's also a dad. And I love this photo with him and his daughter and his dog, and they're looking at Pokemon. And it's like, I'm sure he wasn't thinking, oh, did this go with a post that I shared earlier today or yesterday? No, like this is just who he is. Kristen, God love her. She's so funny. Like she just makes my day. And I go to her account and I love that this is also this is from her marketing section on her Instagram. So she's dressed as Buddy the Elf and she's talking about marketing. Like how funny. Like that's just who Kristen is. And like you get Target, you get, Buddy the Elf, you get Kristen is just who she is. And she's not overthinking it. I mean, at least she makes it look like she's not overthinking it. And then the Geeky Agent, I mean, it's in the title, right? You go to his account and this is what you expect to see. His caption on this says, I could wear a mask that says Remix on it, but this is what usually is called very on brand. No self-respecting geek should go house viewing without a Spidey mask. I mean, yeah, obviously. So I love these I mean, there's a lot of different accounts, but these people I think do such a great job of just being themselves, not overthinking it, posting who they are, right? They really focus on the self category, and check them out on Instagram if you're not already following them. They do a great job. Give people something to do. What do people go on Instagram or social media for? They want to be entertained, right? That's simple. It's not there they don't want to feel like it's work, which for me it is work, but like in my personal time, I want to be entertained. I want to see what's out there. On the Remax account, we've been doing some really fun things, some examples on the screen here, and they're kind of trendy too. Like you've probably seen them on other brand accounts. I know the trend right now is like how it went and how it's going. People want to see this fun piece of content. These are two, actually the one on the left is probably one of our top performing posts from the year. Spot the hot air balloon. I hope it took you a minute. If you found it, please comment and say I found it. And then the second one is the first word you see is the style of your next home. Please feel free to comment on this stream of whatever you see within here. It's just, again, there's content going out in the Remax account, and it's not just a self plug. You guys can use that content whenever, just take it, use it. It's great content that will perform well on your channels because it has for us. So give people something to do. Use tags to help people find you. For you website people, your hashtags, your tags are your SEO for social media. It's so very important. Don't forget to use your hashtags. You can use up to 30 on an Instagram account, or an Instagram post rather. I get the questions of, should I post all 30 in my comment, or should I post it in my post? It really doesn't matter. I mean, whatever you think visually makes sense for your profile. Do you use all 30? Maybe not. Maybe you don't need to, but you can use up to 30. Just think about it again as your SEO. How can you get people to find you if they're not already following you on your Instagram, right? And I would say get specific to your communities. You can start with Remax. You can start with Remax Hustle. There's a lot of posts going on there. So, get 2.6 million posts, it says for Remax here. Might be harder for people to find you. Again, think of it as SEO for your Instagram account, and really narrow it down to what's specific to you, your brand, your purpose, your content strategy. And then your geotags, also so important. Be specific and accurate. For Remax, Scottsdale, Arizona is pretty specific given that we're in 110 countries. We have 130,000 agents. So this is specific to us, but for you, it may not be. Maybe it's, the In-N-Out burger down the street and you're tagging it there. What great way to market your listing by tying it to landmarks or tying it to things that are close by. And it's just so easy. And I see people not using them at all. You should be, because it's just a great way to market your listing, because people will go and click on this geotag and see what content is being tagged there. So use your tags across the board. Hashtags, geotags, just use them. Program for a young audience. I feel like this is pretty specific and well known. People under the age of 25 spend over half an hour a day on Instagram. That's a lot of time on one specific platform. These 3 accounts, I think, do a great job, but more so these 3 posts do a great job to me. I've never seen anyone over the age of 30 have a parrot on their back in a backpack. So I love this post because I'm like, oh, this guy looks like he's going to the beach, but there's also some subtle brand, awareness with him being in front of the Remax sign. It's very obvious, what he's doing. He's programming for a young audience. The second post, and I really want to emphasize this for everyone that is sharing their listings on Instagram. It's for a younger audience. And think about that for a minute. Of maybe you're not sharing grand homes, grand unrealistic first homes for people, right? Maybe your audience is that first time home buyer, that millennial. They're not looking for something that's going to be grandiose, right? It's what is going to appeal to that person. And this, to me, I mean, it appeals to me, and I haven't bought a home, but just add a glass of wine, savor your vino from the third floor master suite rooftop deck before retiring for the evening. Yeah, I deserve it. I want that wine. I want to be on my rooftop patio. I don't even know what the outside of this house looks like. It's probably a townhome, and I want to buy it, right? Think about like the specific things within your listings that would appeal to a younger audience on Instagram. You know, the cozy fireplace, or, you know, things that the rooftop patio, things that people don't really think about. That's just like, oh, look how grand and beautiful this house is. The backyard with a dog in it, right? Millennials buy homes for their dogs, not for their kids. Like, just think about the younger audience when you're thinking about posting your listings. Same with posting your reviews. They actually used a kid within this review. And that's, I mean, to me, just, it's not us like, you know, cut the ribbon, hold the key, like we sold a home today or we bought a house. It's very natural pose. It's, you know, I have a new room. She's not just like smiling through the thing either. It's just like this really, it just kind of warms your heart a little bit, right? And as a kid, you're like, oh, hey, like this is kind of cool. I mean, I don't know, this girl's obviously way younger than me, but I love that they didn't just use like the parents that bought the home, if that makes any sense. So again, these 3 posts, I think, do a really great job of programming for a younger audience with really specific things that real estate agents need to talk about on their profiles anyway, right? Their self, their business, their reviews, etc. Instagram story time. This is pretty obvious. The rise of stories. I said it at the beginning. People are consuming stories. You know, look at that increase just from 2016 to 2019. It's crazy. It's so important. Be on stories. Take a screenshot of this. And again, I can send this presentation out to whoever would like this, but this is the anatomy of a story. And an Instagram story, base word, this is a story. You're telling a story. I want you guys all to really think about what that means, right? There's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. There's maybe a climax in the middle, and then there's an end, right? It's a story. A story, and I actually got this information from Facebook when I visited, and that was almost a year ago, which was crazy to think. They told me that the best length for a story is anywhere from 5 to 8 frames, which is not a lot, right? They're 15-second little frames. And for those that aren't doing stories, hopefully this inspires you to be like, oh, like I don't have to just like go on forever. I mean, think about it. If you see a bunch of little tabs at the top, this is what your finger is doing. I don't want to watch all of those. I just want to get through the end of this to get onto the next person, right? If you have 5 to 8 frames, you're probably more enticed. I don't know. You want to watch it. Like maybe it might spark a little bit more interest in you. So first, you know, start with a selfie style intro. If it's not a video, it can be your face. Introduce what's going to happen. Tell the story. Like what can people expect to see when they're watching the rest of your frames today? Include your location, your tags. Again, they're so important. It's how people find you. Use short, punchy copy display throughout. Doesn't need to be a novel. It can be a few words, especially if people are listening to it without sound. You know, maybe you're adding copy just so that they can see it, and maybe they'll want to flip on their sound. Use interactive tools liberally. There's polls. You can ask questions. You can do donation stickers. There's so many different things that you can do that's really easy. And it gives it an added layer of interactiveness to your story. Again, you want people to watch it, not just skip through it. Mix up your visuals, your photos, your boomerangs, your videos. Any person that hasn't done a boomerang and then they discover boomerang, all of a sudden I just see a bunch of boomerangs, you know, like just mix it up. You don't have to stick to one form of content. Embrace your gifts and your stickers. All the kids are doing it. We obviously have Remax stickers that you can use, but there's so many different stickers and gifts and things. And then your last piece, I saw a question in here about how many followers. You have to have 10,000 followers in order to unlock that swipe up feature. It's amazing. I love having it for both of the accounts I manage. A good bypass to that until you do get to that 10,000 mark, you have a little copy. It says link in bio. Like, go check out, get more information by, you know, going to the link in my bio. Then you're driving people actually to your profile. And then maybe they're more enticed to follow you there. But, you know, until you can do that, just update your link, say it in your story, swipe up, or go to my link in my profile to get more information. Nice bypass. So that's the anatomy of a story. I hope that helps inspire you guys to want to do stories. Again, so important. Oh, yes. Yeah, that's true. You can do it to IGTV, but if you're not doing stories, the likelihood of you doing IGTV is probably low. But again, that comes down to that using the entire platform, right? There's so many different things that you can do within the platform to help drive engagement. We use Linktree. It really depends on what you need. If you're driving content to specific listings, maybe you need more of a robust link tool, but I don't think it's necessary either. You know, if you're updating it regularly, then, you know, do what feels right within the moment. Okay, wrapping it up. Instagram posting guidelines. And then again, this is just suggestions, not firm rules. You can do whatever the heck you want. Just be consistent. They recommend your feed should be posted once a day. Not your videos, your photos, the posts that prompt your discussion. One post per day. I don't even think we do this for Remax. Again, if content is king, consistency is queen. I've been saying that for like years now. And if you can't commit to once a day, maybe you're committing to 3 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or, you know, whatever that is for you. Just be consistent. If you can do once a day, more power to you. Your stories, 5 to 8 times per day. That's one story, right? The 5 to 8 frames of story here. That's your one story. That's 5 to 8 frames. So think about it in that's your in the moment updates all day, and your interactive stickers, etc. So you should be posting to your stories every single day. IGTV once a week. That doesn't feel bad, right? But this is your series, your reoccurring content, your beach communities in North Naples, that kind of stuff. You know, it's what you're probably already doing on Facebook. If you're into video, just repurpose it for Instagram. And then you're live once per month. That feels very doable. I think everyone on here should be able to do once per month, right? One time per month. And you can do an audience Q&A. Maybe these are your market updates. Maybe they're, you know, you're answering questions about what's happening in the selling market or the buying market right now. I don't know. I don't sell real estate, obviously, but you guys get the gist. Once a month, do a live. It's so easy. We're live right now. Just do it. It's so easy. All right, summary, focus on what your platform's all about. That again comes down to what's your why, solving your why, using the entire platform as we talked about throughout this. There's so many different things that you can do within Instagram, including Reels now. Third, real is better than perfect. Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be you. It's what people this is what people stay on your platform. This is what they want to come and see. Get people something to do. Entertain. Instagram is an entertainment platform at the very minimum. Use tags to help people find you. Again, so important. Why are you doing it if you don't want people to find you? I mean, why do you have a website if you don't have SEO? Like, it's crazy. And then program for a young audience, that half an hour a day for the age of 25 and under. It's a lot of time that they're spending on this platform. Use it to your advantage. I'm Kayla. There's obviously some BOC stuff on here because, again, this presentation was first given at RE/MAX BOC. You can watch it if you did attend that already. It's through the end of this year, I believe. You can log back onto that platform. If you want this presentation, you can email me. That's my email address here on the screen. You can follow me on Instagram if you want. But overall, I hope you guys got a lot out of the INSTGRAM. I don't know. I'm sure.
This was fantastic. No, I mean, it's like so simplified and broken down in different steps. And I'm a visual. So by seeing the other accounts and kind of the big takeaways from what each of them are doing, because they're all so unique. Everyone is unique. And I think that's what I get. And yes, I would love to be able to have a beautiful looking Instagram, but I found it's just impossible to be real life and have a beautiful Instagram account that's color branded. It doesn't work. So I decided,
Unless
that's
you're the
just
Michelle
not
B,
going to
for some reason,
happen.
hers is
But
just like beautiful. I don't even know.
it's that color, beautiful. Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm like, because most of mine are on like a broker level. So you have birthdays, anniversaries, miracle homes. So between just those three in itself, I can't color code at all. Like, I tried, and I think I did like a 9 block, and that was, then I realized,
probably wasted a lot of time doing that instead of just creating.
Yeah, because that was before later. So it was really like going into a program, coming up with different blocks, organizing it, how it would look, and then trying to think backwards on how I have to post it all. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. It was cool. Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's just not going to happen. We'll just keep with my color themes, the RE/MAX colors, and, in that way and work. But this was absolutely fantastic. And I know, getting back from, your mini moon, that you are absolutely crazy today. We have Katie Lance doing a class later, 1 p.m., I believe, Eastern. So she'll be on in a couple hours, 2 hours, I guess. And I know that you just are so crazy right now. So I appreciate you so much for doing this for us. This was fantastic and absolutely wonderful.
Well, thank you guys. And again, if you want the presentation or if you have questions, I got to run to podcasting with Adam now, but I'll come back in and check if there's any other comments or questions later in the day, but feel free to reach out. And yeah, thanks, Heather. I appreciate it.
Well, tell Adam I said hi.
I will.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.